Hello and welcome to Clearview Television News, reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. In the news, new ministers charge officials of their ministries to brace up to the challenges of the Nigerian change agenda. Coalition of northern groups comes down heavily on masterminds of revolution now, says protesters are promoting 2023 agenda. Familiar's Jubaland president wins new term amid rift with central government. I'm Rose Audu with the details of this and more. Reappointed Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami has reeled out his plans and strategies to rejig the justice sector through a comprehensive evidence-based judicial reform by bracing up to the challenges that have continued to draw the nation backwards. He said henceforth, underhand dealings of the past administration that resulted in the seizure of Nigeria's assets to the tune of 9 billion naira, but the British courts will no longer be allowed to go unpunished. Clever TV's Aniete Patrick has more.
On resumption of office at the Justice Ministry this Thursday, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami left no one in doubt that he is going to use the instrumentality of the law to improve accountability in public financial management with a view to ensuring that both government, private individuals as well as corporate entities are accountable to the Nigerian people. Malami, however, assured that the processes of law enactment, administration and enforcement will be open, accessible, just, equitable and efficient.
Sadly, in spite of the spirited and concerted efforts of the current administration to combat corruption and rent-seeking in all its forms, Nigerians woke up unfortunately on Friday, 16th August 2019 to the rudest consequences of the underhand dealings of the past administration that has resulted in the award of $9 billion judgment against the Federal Republic of Nigeria by a British court, which ruled that Process and Industrial Development Limited had the right to seize 9 billion naira in Nigerian assets. It may interest you to know that the dispute that led to the arbitration between the federal government and P&ID, which consequently resulted in the said court ruling, arose from a 20-year gas supply processing agreement purportedly entered with P&ID by the first administration in 2010, which contract P&ID never performed as agreed. That being said, it must be placed on record that the federal government strongly views with serious concerns the underhand manners by which the negotiation, signing, and formation of the contract was carried out by some vested interest in the past administration in connivance with their local and international conspirators, all in the bid to inflict grave economic adversity on the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the good people of Nigeria. As a government that has the mandate of the people and their interests at heart, we shall not fold our arms and allow this injustice to go unpunished, as all efforts, actions, and steps shall be taken to bring to book all private individuals, corporate entities, and government officials, home and abroad, past and present, that played direct and indirect roles in the conception, negotiation, signing, formation, as well as prosecution of the purported agreement.
While decrying the challenges of non-adherence to court orders, Malami further promised to ensure effective and timely prosecution of all cases being handled by the Federal Ministry of Justice, as well as intensify efforts in a harmonious working relationship amongst all Nigerian anti-corruption and law enforcement agencies in order to enhance the fight against corruption.
May I inform you that the major reason for the seeming failure of our system is the structural defects of our constitution and laws, non-adherence to laws, institutional failure of enforcement, and dysfunctionality of our judicial system, which only judicial reforms can reverse if we must exist as a nation. In playing our part towards reversing this dysfunctional system, the Federal Ministry of Justice shall rigorously pursue judicial reforms targeted at achieving the following objectives. 1, to protect the sovereignty, integrity, solidarity, well-being, and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by defending the Nigerian Constitution in such manner that will guarantee the unity and indivisibility of the Nigerian state.
Number 1 law officer notes that in considering a faster and cheaper means of assets recovery of stolen public assets such as settlements, civil suits, non-conviction based forfeiture proceedings, among others, will be given prominence as it is a new dawn for law enforcement in Nigeria. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Clearview Television.
And shortly after their inauguration, both the substantive minister and Minister of State assigned to the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development arrived at the ministry's headquarters to the warm cheers of top officials and staff in the ministry. Both Olamilekon Adegbite and Uchechukwu Oga were unanimous in their expectations of a harmonious working relationship with staff of the ministry, which they noted is critical to the realization of the mandate set for them by President Muhammadu Buhari. The report. Receiving the ministers, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Mines and Steel, Dr. Muazu Abdul Kadir, pledged complete support to the ministers to ensure that the ministry meets its set goals.
Our Minister and our Minister of State, we welcome you to Ministry of Mines and Steel Development. And as you have heard from the introductions, the ministry has departments whose names are difficult now to understand. And then has departments that are common services. So we have professional departments that are extremely highly technical, manned by very competent professionals. And we have common services departments that are manned by other very competent public servants. As you also have heard, we have many agencies, and you will come to appreciate them in the next coming days and weeks, whose chief executives are here. So on behalf of all of them, I will say that both of you are welcome to mines, solid minerals, metals, and the steel sector.
Speaking, architect Olamilekon Adegbite, Minister of Mines and Steel Development, said he will work hand in hand with staff of the ministry to bring about rapid development in the mines and steel sector.
Intend, along with my brother, of course, to learn quickly the ropes so that we can contribute our quota to the success of this administration, especially increasing the revenue base of the country and lifting people out of poverty, our people. Mr. President has promised that we will lift 100 million people out of poverty in 10 years. By the end of the tenure of this administration, 4 years, we want to be at least, if not 40% done, because there might be initial inertia at the beginning, but once we pick momentum, we should be able to hit at least in the 4th year, if not 40%, at least be around 35 to 40%. This, of course, I'm sure this ministry will contribute in no small measure to that.
Speaking in the same vein, the Minister of State, Dr. Uchechukwu Oga, pledged commitment to the realization of the ministry's objectives to ensure an even development.
Here, we want to partner with you people to see how we can move this country forward. For us here, we are determined to change the narrative of this ministry. And we cannot do alone, both of us. But with you, we can take this ministry to become an enviable ministry that people want to come into. So I want to encourage you. We want to have all the maximum support that you can give to us, because at the end of the day, every one of us here will be happy that we are part of this ministry.
All the 43 newly appointed ministers were sworn in earlier in the day by President Muhammadu Buhari at the Astor Rock Presidential Villa. And the management and staff of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, have received FCT Minister Malan Mohammed Musa Bello as they assumed duty once again as FCT Minister for a second term. He was received by the Minister of State, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliu, who had arrived earlier to a warm reception, and the Permanent Secretary, Christian Ohar. In a brief meeting with senior management staff on his arrival, Muhammad Bello stressed the need for cooperation from all for the success of his second outing as FCT Minister. The minister urged all staff to work hard towards building the FCT of their dreams, stressing that the growth rate of the territory was unprecedented, and this needed the collective hard work of all to remain functional. He also assured the staff of his commitment and cooperation to take the FCT to the desired level. On her part, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliu expressed delight at the reception accorded them by the management and staff of the FCTA and prayed for a good working relationship with all staff while assuring of her commitment to work with the minister for the betterment of the FCT. In his welcome remarks earlier, the Permanent Secretary pledged the cooperation and loyalty of management and staff of the FCT while welcoming both ministers to the FCT. And Yoruba Socio-Cultural Group Afenifere and its Igbo counterpart, Ohanesam Digbo, have condemned the allocation of ministries by President Muhammadu Buhari, with all 9 ministers from the Northwest receiving senior positions among the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. The Northwest, which consists of Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara states, have the highest number of ministers, all of which received senior portfolios. The president hails from Katsina State in Northwest. The 9 cabinet members from the Northwest include Suleiman Adamu, Jigawa State, who was appointed Minister of Water Resources, Zainab Ahmed, Kaduna State, Minister of Finance, Muhammad Mahmood, Kaduna State, Minister of Environment, and Sabo Nanonu, Kano State, Minister of Agriculture and Development. Others are Major General Bashir Salihi, Magashi, Kano State, Minister of Defense, Hadi Sirika, Katsina State, Minister of Aviation, Abubakar Malami, Kebbi State, Minister of Justice, Maigere Dengiadi, Sokoto State, Minister of Police Affairs, and Sadia Umar Farouk, Zamfara State, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. The National Publicity Secretary of Afenifere, Yinka Odumakin, Wednesday described the appointment of the ministers as an act of sectionalism on the part of the president. He said the appointment confirmed the position of critics who accused Buhari of nepotism. And some protesters who tagged themselves senior citizens on Thursday protested against the appointment of 27-year-old Sheun Fakarode as Commissioner for Youth and Sports in Oyo State. The protest came after Governor Sheyi Makinde appointed a 27-year-old engineer alongside other commissioners. From image of placards held by protesters, they openly rejected the appointment and asked the governor to disallow the All Progressives Congress (APC) from destabilizing his government, suggesting that Fakarode is a member of the APC and not PDP. However, some youth and students showed their support for the young commissioner and also commended Governor Makinde for his positive move towards involving youth in public governance in the state. Sheun Fakarode was nominated on August 19, and his nomination has been received by the Oyo State House of Assembly. This information was disclosed by the State Assembly Speaker, Ade Adebo Ogundoyin. Governor Makinde had last week sworn in 14 commissioners cleared by the State Assembly, with the office of the Ministry of Youth and Sport still vacant. And the Presidential Election Tribunal has dismissed the petition filed by Hope Democratic Party and its presidential candidate Ambrose Oworu, challenging the conduct of the February 23rd, 2019 presidential election and the return of President Muhammadu Buhari as winner of the poll. In the judgment delivered by a 5-man panel led by Justice Muhammad Garuba, the tribunal held that the duty of the tribunal is to decide election matter and not referendum. More so, referendum is alien to election process. On the postponement of election, the tribunal held that it is a pre-election matter. Therefore, the tribunal does not have jurisdiction over such matter. The Kano Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal sitting in Kano City is threatening to relocate to Abuja if any of its members face the slightest security threat in the state. The presiding judge, Justice Halima Muhammad, stated this while condemning a cyber attack meted on one of the witnesses who testified before the tribunal for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in the case. The judge said, and we quote, "If the life of a witness is threatened just because she came to testify here, then we cannot just sit here and think we are safe. So please, let us not go that way. If not, I will be forced to move my panel to Abuja. If you are in Abuja, you can only hear on radio." End of quote. Justice Muhammad said against advice, she insisted that the tribunal sits in Kano in order to give the people of the state the opportunity to see and hear what was transpiring before the tribunal, and wondered why witnesses should become subjects of attacks. The decision of the tribunal followed a complaint by counsel to INEC Adedayo Adedeji, who informed the court that one of the witnesses, Halima Sambo Hassan, who testified for the first respondent, was attacked on social media. Hassan, the electoral officer for Ngogo local government area, who testified for INEC, had her picture captured after her testimony and posted on social media, linking her to the state government, as a result of which she was attacked by several people who rained insults on her personality. Adedeji described the act as contempt of court and requested that the tribunal takes appropriate action. Also condemning the incident, counsel to PDP Maliki Kulia Omar described the action as unacceptable and a harassment to the administration of justice. In her ruling, Justice Halima ordered that the matter be investigated by the appropriate authorities. The national chairman, the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Uche Secondus, says the party has no preferred candidates for the November 16 governorship elections in Bayelsa and Kogi states. He has therefore advised aspirants angling for the party's tickets in the two states to take their campaigns to the ad hoc delegates, as they alone would determine the flag bearers of the party. Addressing governorship aspirants at the PDP's National Secretariat in Abuja on Wednesday, Secondus pledged that the party would ensure transparent governorship primary elections in the two states. The PDP national chairman assured that the election of the ad hoc delegates will resume from this Thursday, August 22nd, and that the exercise will be transparently done to the satisfaction of all. He said the party's only duty is to ensure that only the best candidates emerge, and as such the rules be followed to the letter, because the National Working Committee wants the best. Secondus made it clear that anyone peddling rumors that the party has a preferred candidate is deceiving the ad hoc delegates, as the era of impunity in the party is gone. Meanwhile, the PDP panel for the screening of the party's governorship aspirant from Kogi State has cleared all the 13 aspirants that obtained the nomination forms for the election. Among them are Senator Dino Malaye, Captain Idris Wada, and the son of a former governor, Abubakar Idris. Also, the Bayelsa State Screening Committee, headed by Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, has cleared a former managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Timi Alaibe, serving Bayelsa State Deputy Governor John Jonah, the Secretary to the State Government, Kamela Okara, Senator Doye Diri, and the Member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Fred Agbedi. Among others, all the aspirants cleared for the primary elections have been presented with screening certificates that would enable them contest the primary elections slated for September 3. The All Progressives Congress APC on Wednesday inaugurated 2 screening committees to examine and scrutinize aspirants contesting in the party's governorship primaries scheduled for August 29. The APC National Chairman, Adams Oshomole, while inaugurating the committees in Abuja, urged the members to carry out a proper and thorough screening exercise to avoid a situation where the party would lose candidates again due to inappropriate qualification requirements which opposition parties often latch onto. Senator Hope Uzodimma leads the 7-member committee to screen aspirants in Kogi, while that for Bayelsa is chaired by Senator Abdullahi Gomen. Oshomole urged the committees to request clarification from the National Working Committee of the party if in doubt of claims or contradictions by any aspirants. He said the party have had a couple of cases where people claimed what they did not have or they sworn affidavits such that they have 2-3 ages depending on what they sworn affidavits for. Citing the recent case in Taraba where the APC candidate who went through entire process had his candidature nullified at the Supreme Court on account of falsification of age. According to him, the committees should look out for eligibility of aspirants, which includes financial membership of the aspirants, adding that such aspirants' membership must exceed 1 year. The APC national chairman said it would be unfair to hand the party's flag to those who just joined when there are well-entrenched members of the party angling for the governorship seats in the aforementioned states. He also stated that only the NWC could give waiver for any aspirant that spent less than a year in the party. Analysts say the import of this rule means that the governorship aspiration of the immediate past resident electoral commissioner in Cross River State, Franklin Brial, may have been dashed. Brial resigned his office from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, about 2 weeks ago to contest the Bayelsa State governorship election on the platform of the APC. The APC screening exercise in the 2 states are expected to hold simultaneously on August 22nd and 23 at the party state secretariat in Yenegoa and Lokoja. And the APC 7-man screening committee members who arrived Lokoja to screen governorship aspirants said their duty is to get the best candidate to represent the party at the coming governorship election. It comes November 16th. The report.
The chairman of the committee, Senator Hope Uzodimma, said his team is working in line with the party's constitution aimed at bringing the aspirants together and to provide the opportunity for them at the party's national level to interact with aspirants one-on-one.
We must have the spirit of sportsmanship. From our records, we have 16 aspirants, out of which 1 person must emerge. The important thing here now that has confronted us is the challenge of making sure that when 1 person emerges, other 15 aspirants must rally around him for us to win this election.
The chairman advised them to be calm as no one will be intimidated. Uzodimma said Kogi is an APC state and it is their prayers that APC will continue to rule. He told them that what happened in Taraba State would not be allowed to repeat itself in Kogi.
But we are also very careful because you must have heard that the last election, our candidate from Taraba State was eventually disqualified as not being eligible by Supreme Court. And the party is paying dearly for it now. So we are going to do a very thorough screening. It is not because you are handsome, you must be our candidate. No. It is not because you are a very strong man, you can kill 200 people at a time. No. It is because when we bring you to sponsor you, that we are sure that with the support of Kogi people, you will win. And when you win, your success and victory will stand every test of the judiciary.
He promised to do a thorough job to ensure the best candidate emerges to represent the party. Among the aspirants is the governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, who described the exercise as a welcome development.
The committee interviewed me extensively and very thoroughly, and to the best of my knowledge and to the best of my ability, I was able to respond adequately to all the questions that were raised. And by the grace of God, I think I am hoping to be one of those that will be successfully cleared to participate in the primary elections.
Other aspirants said that they believe the exercise will deliver the best candidate that will take the state to the next level.
This is a game for every one of us. Being a woman does not mean that I cannot be in politics. And I believe I'm coming on a rescue mission to rescue my people.
The other key issues are whether you've had conduct that potentially violates the law and could render you possibly ineligible to run for office. I've never heard that. I mean, the only thing I've ever done in a courtroom is to defend people as a lawyer, never to be defended myself. I've never had a history of arrest, a record of any type of criminal behavior, and so I'm quite confident that I don't anticipate anything that would come out of the screening. I don't know what question they would ask that I do not have a consistent answer to.
We believe that these are honest people, honest representatives of the country, and any decision that they make that is dishonest, well, would be protesting. But we hope that everything is done properly and done right for the best outcome for our great party.
They were doing verification of our documents. I think it was fine.
Amongst aspirants present are 14 out of 16 interested party members. 2 amongst them are women. The aspirants include Governor Yahaya Bello, Jibril Usman, Muna Audu, Saidu Onalo, Adiza Ibrahim, and Bashiru Abubakar. Others are Sani Lulu, Yakubu Mohammed, Yahaya Audu, Danlami Ahmed, Bashiru Gegu, Patrick Akpa, Babatunde Irukera, and Aisha Ekele.
You're watching Clearview Television News. The news will continue shortly after this timeout.
I'm very delighted. I'm happy to be at Clearview. Like the name implies, everything is quite clear here. I enjoy all Nigerians to continue to enjoy the very clear opportunity of broadcasting. And I said, Clearview, well done, please keep it up. Clearview is it. Don't change that channel. Enjoy it.
Welcome back. The leadership of the coalition of northern groups has accused some northern politicians of sponsoring the #Revolution and protest to promote their mischievous 2023 political agenda. In a press statement signed by its spokesperson Abdulaziz Suleiman, CNG exonerated itself of similar unpatriotic moves and restated its call for all northerners to remain resolute in rejecting any attempt to drag them into any dangerous movement in whatever guise. CNG said, our attention was called to trending reports that a certain fake, fringe and obscure joint Northern Action Front is mobilizing the North to revive the violent and counterproductive #Revolution Now in northern parts of the country. The #Revolution Now was politely rejected by the North in view of its promoters of revolution pronounced a sinister intention of forcefully overthrowing the current democratic government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is therefore surprising and suspicious that any group of people should, for any intent and purpose, attempt to resurrect the dead revolution, particularly in the North. The group reminded the North of the expedients to retain its position as a bulwark of respect, integrity, dignity, decorum, tradition, decency, morality, civilization, etiquette, good behavior, politeness, accommodation, and other positive traits. And Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Universities, SSANU, and the non-academic staff of University of Bafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife chapter, has called on the federal government to lead by example in obeying the rule of law by enforcing the court order on the university's staff schools. The unions made the call Wednesday at a peaceful protest held at the entrance of the university campus in Ile-Ife.
The protest prevented the students and members of staff from gaining entrance into the university campus. Armed with placards and various inscriptions, the unions are demanding implementation of earned allowances, reinstatement, and payment of backlog arrears of university staff school teachers, among others. They called on the federal government to lead by example by implementing the court's position on university staff schools.
Allowances. The federal government of Nigeria signed an agreement with us in 2009. Up till now, we have not actualized the implementation of the earned allowances. What we are demanding, our demand right now is very minimal. We are demanding for payment of at least 30 billion to non-teaching staff in non-Nigeria university.
There is a court position on the issue of staff school that federal government must obey. Why has it taken 7 years for federal government to obey the rule of law? Federal government, listen, show us the right that we deserve. Discontinue to abuse us. Obey the federal government ruling on staff school.
They insist that they would continue with the strike if the federal government failed to yield to their demands at the expiration of the 5-day warning strike.
We are going to continue with this strike. Strike is the last straw that the unions have. We have used all the methods that we can use. And we know that we have right when there is injustice meted on us to protest. And we continue. If they don't address us within 5 days, this strike may be prolonged beyond our expectation.
They also frown at selective implementation of the agreement to some institutions.
The Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, has urged stakeholders in the palm oil industry to work towards ensuring a shared commitment to sustainable palm oil production in the African continent, calling on them to be part of the solution to the challenges facing the industry. The governor said this at Africa's third Sustainable Palm Oil Conference, hosted by the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil and Proforest in Ghana, to discuss the long-term sustainable development plan for oil palm production in Africa. Obaseki, who harped on the need for a sustainable plan to improve the livelihood of the people while addressing the delegates and the industry, noted, "If you are not part of the solution, then you are part of the problem. Let me congratulate all of you here today for demonstrating your commitment to a solution. It is in the interest of all of us in Africa to make sustainable palm oil the norm." The Assurance Director, Salahuddin Yakub, called for a long-term sustainable development plan in the region, stating that the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil can only achieve its vision of transforming markets to make sustainable palm oil the norm through collaboration with all stakeholders, from growers to governments, financial institutions to non-governmental organizations. The event played host to high-profile dignitaries, growers, NGOs, financial institutions, and consumer goods manufacturers, who acknowledged the need for African palm oil producing countries to convert from net importers to net exporters to significantly increase palm oil production. And Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State has promised to support the families of 3 policemen and 2 others who were killed in the convoy of Dr. Emmanuel Akebe, the deputy governor, along the Akwanga-Nasarawa-Igom Road. The governor disclosed this at an emergency security meeting held in Government House, Lafia, on Wednesday. He reiterated his administration's commitment to good governance and vowed not to allow the activities of bandits, kidnappers and armed robbers to distract his government. The governor said the government would do everything possible to cater to the deceased families and urged the security operatives not to relent in their efforts in protecting lives and properties of the citizens of the state. Sule urged the citizens of the state to remain calm, noting that the criminal elements were not from the state. He promised that government would deploy all security measures, both air and on land, to fish out the criminals. Briefing newsmen shortly after the security meeting, the State Commissioner of Police, Bola Longe, insisted that the criminal elements terrorizing the state would have no place to hide, adding that investigation had since commenced to unravel the activities of the criminals in the state. Gunmen suspected to be cultists on Thursday morning killed 5 persons in Lile community or Haji, Egbema local government area of Imo State. The incident occurred around 3 a.m. in the agrarian community. Eyewitness account says that some of the persons killed include a retired police officer simply identified as Ukpabi. The immediate past president general of the community, Napoleon Amadi, a member of vigilante group in the community, Wagu Eze, and 2 others. The gunmen invaded the victims' homes and shot their targets before fleeing. On what led to the killings, the source said it was purely courtesan. When contacted, the police public relations officers in the state, Orlando Ikeoku, confirmed the incident but said 3 persons were killed and not 5 as claimed by our source. Ikeoku said he could not confirm if the killings were court-related, but he said that the State Commissioner of Police, Rabiu Ladodo, had ordered comprehensive investigation into the matter. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has called on regimental sergeant majors in the Nigerian Army to be digitally inclined in discharging their professional responsibilities. The Army Chief, who made the call during the 2019 Regimental Sergeant Majors Convention in Kaduna, says, as a professional Army, personnel must embrace change and adapt to contemporary situations. The report.
Present in this hall are more than 300 regimental sergeant majors drawn from different formations of the Nigerian Army for the 2019 convention. The convention is with the theme Professionalism Through Regimentation in the Nigerian Army. The General of SAR Commanding 1 Division, Nigerian Army, Major General Farouk Yahaya, told the RSMs that as links between the soldiers and officers, the RSMs must be professionally responsive in their roles.
The RSMs and their formation and units are traditional custodians of regimentation and discipline, which are also key elements of professionalism. They are therefore essential in our march towards professionalism.
The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Lieutenant General Tiko Buratai, says there is a paradigm shift from the old order of regimentation. Hence, the RSMs must key into the new order by embracing the digital technology.
Times have changed. And as such, as regimental sergeant majors, you must also change with time. I expect you all, regimental sergeant majors, you should no longer be analog, but you should be digital.
The Army Chief says the Nigerian Army has also reactivated its language policy to enable personnel learn more than 2 major indigenous Nigerian languages for effective communication in the face of the current security situation.
You must continuously strive to learn 1 or 2 other Nigerian languages apart from your own mother tongue. This is how we can enhance and indeed ensure integration.
This year's convention is aimed at training the RSMs on conventional practice of regimentation.
You're still watching Clearview Television News. The news will continue shortly after this break.
This used to be me. But that was before I got the perfect bag. It's handy and easy to use. All I need in one compact space, just like my MTN Extra Value plan. I used to get one plan for my calls and then try to remember which data plan worked for me. Roaming was a totally different ballgame. Not anymore. I've got the MTN Extra Value all-in-one plan. If you're a data buff like me, you get extra data with some talk time. And if you like to make calls, you get extra talk time with some data. And when I'm abroad, I automatically browse, chat, and call right on the same plan. MTN Extra Value was made just for me.
More of data or calls, whichever one you prefer. MTN Extra Value is made just for you.
Welcome back. The Food and Agriculture Organization, an agency of the United Nations, on Thursday in Abuja donated a modern terrestrial fish processing center to the Federal Capital Territory Administration. At the official handing over of the facility at Kado Market, the agency's country representative in Nigeria, Sufyan Koroma, says the gesture is to assist in developing fish value chain to contribute to eradicating hunger and promote food security, not only in Nigeria, but on the African continent. Clever TV's Ifeoluwa Ishola was there and now reports.
Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and the Federal Capital Territory Administration jointly signed the handling over certificate of Taiwanese Smoking Clean Facility to the Federal Capital Territory Administration. The Smoking Clean Facility, which is part of the Food and Agriculture Organization's contribution to the development of fish value chain in Nigeria, is designed to help eradicate hunger in the country, given the generally accepted nutritional value of fish. FAO country representative in Nigeria, Sufyan Koroma, says the facility has unique features that will reduce risks associated with polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons and is expected to serve as a means of employment to Nigerian youth alongside eradication of hunger.
We expect that with this, we are targeting mostly in Kado here, it is mostly the youth who are highly engaged in smoking fish along that value chain. And we hope that this could be upscaled to other communities in Kado, and also we have plans to upscale it in other parts of the country. But this one here in Kado Market is the first in Nigeria.
Also speaking, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Capital Territory Administration, Christian Oha, advised fish farmers and traders to make maximum use of the new clean complex, which he says boosts of high productivity and is more cost-effective.
The facilities will not only ensure increased production, but ultimately bring down the cost of locally processed fish for consumption. I hereby encourage all fish sellers and other stakeholders in the fish farming value chain to key into this project to maximize production and profit, and also improve the chances of the eradication of hunger in not only just the FCT, but our nation as a whole.
In an interview, the chairman, Kado Market Trader Association, Muhammad Ibrahim, says the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations had a prenup assessment of the facility and saw it wasn't good enough for production of high-quality fishes for exportation, thus the creation of the clean facility.
They came here, we took them around, they saw the facilities we are using and how we are going through the pains of smokes and others. And they felt that they can have a new way of doing it by modernizing it for us. And what they did was to build us a new facility that we will use. This facility, we have to use coal and bricks, all joined together to use in smoking our fish now. And which is less stress. The smoke is not there, and the quality has been improved in terms of taste and in terms of flavor too.
Some of the fish traders expressed their excitement and as well as dissatisfaction over the porous environment used in fish processing.
I feel very excited because it's taking the fish farming to a greater height.
The smoke in this place is too much, and even though they say that I should roast it from now till in the night, I can't.
In the euphoria of the commissioning of the clean facility, the cultural troupe of the FCT thrilled the audience with their artistic moves. Ifeoluwa Ishola, reporting for Clearview Television.
The Chief Judge of Kogi State, Justice Nasiru Ajana, has discharged 9 inmates awaiting trial in Okene prison. Justice Ajana, who freed the inmates on Wednesday in Okene, while in continuation of his 2019 prison tour, said the exercise is in line with the powers bestowed on him by the law. He explained that the visit to prisons was aimed at decongesting the prisons and aiding in the smooth transition from Nigeria Prison Service to Nigeria Correctional Service. While reviewing the cases of the inmates who were remanded on offenses bordering on criminal conspiracy, armed robbery, theft, criminal intimidation, rape, and attempt to commit murder, Justice Ojana said incarceration of an inmate for more than 4 years without progressive trial was unconstitutional, no matter how justified an offense is. The Chief Judge, however, appealed to the released inmates to be of good behavior so that they do not return to the prison. Among the inmates released unconditionally for having psychiatric cases and therefore declared unfit to undergo trial are Ige Kekere, Onikpe Ojo, Balegi Agbaje, Danjuma Eguru, Adamu Audu, Samuel Emmanuel, and Uzochi Ebuka. 2 others, Onimisi Fatai Sadiq and Shaibu Yusuf, were released on bail. And now moving on to the entertainment segment. Burna Boy releases new record. Not only after his stellar performance on the Beyonce album, Burna Boy returns with a pull-up. Oluwa Burna, the African giant who has been consistent with his craft and dishing out quality music and hits back-to-back, comes through with a new tune. The new record, titled Pull Up, is here to whet our appetite before the official release of his album. The much-anticipated album, tagged African Giant, is set for release on the 26th of this month. With Anybody still boozing heavily and topping charts, Burna Boy presents a Pull-Up, a record you will fall in love with. It is for those that want to see that special one who always runs through their mind and head. And Larry King ended his marriage to his 7th wife and filed for divorce. 85-year-old Larry King has filed for divorce Tuesday in LA County Court against Sean King. The Found Talk, a show host, has been married 8 times to 7 different women. In 1997, he married his 7th wife, Sean Southwick. The nuptial actually went down in King's hospital room as he was preparing to undergo surgery to clear a clogged blood vessel in his heart. On April 14, 2010, both Larry and Sean filed for divorce but later reconciled. Both Larry and Sean have been wrapped up in allegations of infidelity during their marriage. Larry was once accused of having an affair with Sean's sister, Shannon Engelman, but the talk show host denied the allegations. Meanwhile, Sean was accused of having an affair with their children's former Little League baseball coach, Hector Pennant. Sean denies these rumors, but Pennant went on the record in an interview and claimed he had slept with the talk show host's wife in their marital bed during a rendezvous back in 2007. And to move on to the international story, Somalia's Jubaland armed Mohammed re-elected president. The Somalians' southern state of Jubaland has re-elected Ahmed Madobe Mohammed Islam as its leader following a disputed poll. Ahmed defeated 3 other candidates in a vote cast by the semi-autonomous region's lawmakers in the port city of Kismayo on Thursday. According to the results announced by the regional electoral body, the former rebel leader won 56 out of the 74 votes cast. Anab Muhammad Dahir, his closest challenger and the only female candidate, won 17 votes. The poll was delayed by 3 days, with the regional electoral body saying it was to allow candidates more time to register. Ahmed, 58, was first elected to office in May 2013, a year after Somali troops, backed by African Union soldiers, pushed the Al-Qaeda-linked armed group Al-Shahab out of Kismayu. The opposition has said Ahmed was undemocratic during his previous term, and critics have accused the Electoral Commission of working to skew results in his favor. Last week, authorities in the capital, Mogadishu, announced that they would not accept the outcome of the poll, calling the process not free and fair. A group of Ahmed's rivals swore in their own legislature and organized a separate poll of MPs to coincide with Thursday's votes in Kismayu. In his victory speech, President Ahmed said, and we quote, "Let us forgive each other. I'm ready to hold dialogue with the opposition and address any issue they may have. We want to work with neighboring countries and security. We will work with anyone to maintain the stability and development of the region. We want to work with them in the fight against Al-Shabaab." End of quote. The United Nations had, in a statement on Wednesday, called on all stakeholders to hold a single electoral process that is credible, inclusive, fair, and peaceful. And you are watching Clearview Television News. The news will continue shortly with sports.
Juggernaut scores his first goal for a professional side.
Hello and welcome to the sporting segment of Clearview Television. I'm Ogutime Itolulakwe Ogutime. The delegation of senior women national team Super Falcons to next week's 2020 Olympics qualifying match against the senior women national team of Algeria will depart Nigeria on Saturday. Head coach Thomas Zenebi has already submitted a list of 18 home-based professionals who will do battle with the Algerians, following the inability of foreign-based players to make the trip due to various engagements with their clubs. The delegation will fly aboard Turkish Airlines into Istanbul and then connect to Algiers from Turkey's commercial and economic capital. Already, World Football Governing Body FIFA has appointed officials from Mali to take charge of the clash, coach the Algeria Football Federation has scheduled for the state municipal Shanka in Bleda outside Algiers to kick off at 7 p.m. Algerian time, same time as Nigeria on Wednesday, 28 August. Teneba Bagayoko will be the referee with her compatriot Miriam Koulibaly and Geneba Bendembele also on duty. The fourth official will be Joseph Ganotti from Tunisia, while Mana Zodope from Togo will serve as referee assessor, and Omu Kane from Mauritania will be the match commissioner. For the return leg in Nigeria, coach the Nigeria Football Federation has scheduled for the Aige Stadium, Lagos on Tuesday, 3rd September 2019, starting from 4 p.m. FIFA has appointed Zumada Cole from Cote d'Ivoire to be the referee. Her compatriot Luta and Dennis Akoa and Fatuma Kra will be joining her on the assignment. Ghanaian Emmanuela Aglado will serve as the referee assessor, and Cameroonian Sudatu Kakaba will be the match commissioner. Meanwhile, FIFA has put Adebimpe orders for World Cup qualifying duty. World Football Governing Body FIFA has appointed Nigeria officials led by Kadri Adebimpe to superintend over the 2020 FIFA World Cup qualifying match between Gambia and Angola scheduled for Bakau on Friday, 6 November 2019. The match, scheduled for the Independence Stadium in the city of Bakau, will also see Nigerian Celestine Iguedia, Samuel Wajutakam, and Abdullahi Shuaibu in action. Rashid Sanusi from Sierra Leone will serve as the referee assessor, while Liberian Andy Kwame will be the match commissioner. Nigeria Football Federation has said it is terribly saddened at the news of the death on Wednesday, 21st August, of former Super Falcons attacking midfielder Ifeanyi Chukwu Chijene. Reports on Thursday morning said the effervescent and skillful attacking midfielder gave up the ghost in Lagos after a brief illness. General Secretary of Nigeria Football Federation, Dr. Mohammed Sanusi, was momentarily speechless after being informed of the passing of the former player. This is huge shock. We had no idea that she was sick. Ifeanyi was one of the most naturally gifted players to have featured for the Super Falcons. Her death at such a young age is a big blow. She gave 100% of her ability and capacity each time she turned out for the country. We will always remember her as a bundle of skill and energy, and as a patriotic individual who wore the green, white, green with a smile every time. The 36-year-old captained the first set of the Falconets that featured at the inaugural edition of the FIFA Under-19 Women's World Cup in Canada in 2002. The competition will be the renamed FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup 6 years later. Ifeanyi Chukwu Stephanie Chijene featured for the Super Falcons at 3 FIFA World Cup finals, USA 1999, USA 2003, and China 2007, the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games, 4 Africa Cup of Nations, South Africa 2000, Nigeria 2002, Nigeria 2006, and Equatorial Guinea 2008, and at the Women's Football Tournament of 9th All African Games in Nigeria in 2007. The Minister for Youth and Sport Development, Mr. Sunday Dare, has announced the intention of his ministry to organize a meeting of all critical stakeholders in the area of youth development in the next few days. The minister made this known today, August 22, 2019, while giving his keynote address at the 2019 International Youth Day celebration with the theme Transforming Education in Abuja. And that's it from the sporting segment of Clearview Television. I'm Ogutime into Lulapo Ogutime.
There it is. What a shot from Tiger. And the Jamaican juggernaut scores his first goal for a professional side. And
welcome back, and that's all for the news. But before we go, let us another look at our top stories. New ministers have resumed at their various offices with a charge to the workers to brace up to the challenges of the change agenda of the Buhari administration. Coalition of northern groups has given knocks to organizers of Revolution Now. They accuse them of working on election 2023 agenda. We also told you that the president of Jubaland, a small region critical to East Africa's fight against Al-Shabaab militants, has won a new term amid a growing rift between the federal government and its semi-autonomous states. That's the news. Remember that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel via Clearview TV. Like us on Facebook via Clearview Television. Follow us on Twitter at Clearview Online. Follow us on Instagram at Clearview TV_NG. You can also watch Clearview TV on Nigecomsat with any free-to-air decoder. For details, contact your local installer. I am Rose Audu. Many thanks for joining us.